The ship named Inevitable Conquest hung silently above Earth. Its metal skin reflected no light. No human radar could see it. Inside, Commander Zixtal stood by the main window, looking down at the blue planet below. "A beautiful world," he said. His voice made a clicking sound between words. "Shame we must take it." The Meraxes had studied Earth for 50 years. They watched human TV shows. They listened to radio. They read the internet. The Meraxes were taller than humans, with gray, skin that looked like stone. They had 4 arms and eyes that could see in the dark. Their home world was dying. They needed Earth. "Commander, the Council is waiting for your final report," said Officer Vexna. She was smaller than Zixtal, with bright yellow eyes. Zixtal turned from the window. "Yes. One last study before we bring the fleet. We must be certain." The meeting room was cold. The Meraxes liked cold. 7 officers sat around a table made of something like glass. A map of Earth floated above it. "Our studies show humans are weak," said General Urkon. "Their bodies break easily. They can't see well. They can't hear well. They die from simple things like cold and heat." Krodek, the combat expert, nodded. He was the biggest Meraxes on the ship. His upper arms had scars from many battles. "Their weapons are simple. Their armies are small. They fight each other more than any outside enemy." "But they are many," said Peltith, the culture expert. She was old, with skin that had turned almost white. 6 billion spread across the planet, and they are unpredictable." Zixtal looked at the map. "This is why we need one final study. We need to see humans up close, not through cameras or radio. We need to see what they do when they think no one is watching." "Where should we go?" asked Vexna. Zixtal touched the map. It zoomed in on a green area. "This place. The humans call it Montana, not many people. Easy to stay hidden. Many natural dangers so we can see how humans handle trouble." "I will prepare the pod," said Krodak, standing up. "Choose 3 others to come with us," said Zixtal. "Small team, quick study, 2 days on Earth, then we report to the Council." As the others left, Pelteeth stayed behind. "Commander, I have studied humans for 20 years. They surprise me still." Zixtal made the hand sign that meant continue. "They are weak in body, yes. But there is something else about them. Something I cannot explain with science. All species fight to live, Peltith." "It's more than that," she said. "Be careful down there. Watch with open eyes." Samantha Wright zipped up her jacket and checked her backpack one more time. Water bottle, first aid kit, bear spray, radio, knife, map, lunch, all there. Just a normal Tuesday, she said to herself. Sam had been a park ranger in Glacier National Park for 5 years. Before that, she was a medic in the Army. She had seen war. Now she liked the quiet of the woods. Her boss, Alan, walked into the ranger station. "Morning, Sam. Big hike today?" "Just checking the North Trail. Some hikers said they saw damage from the storm last week," Alan nodded. "Be careful out there. We got reports of a big grizzly near Pine Creek. Probably hungry after winter." "Always careful," Sam said, patting the bear spray on her belt. Back by sunset. The morning air was cold and fresh. Sam's boots made quiet sounds on the dirt path. Birds sang in the trees. This was why she loved her job. No people, no noise, just nature. She didn't know about the small silver pod that followed her through the air. So quiet even the birds didn't notice. Inside sat 4 Meraxes watching her every move. "Subject is female, approximately 30 Earth years old," said Vexna into a recorder. Moving alone through difficult terrain. Krodak watched through a screen that showed Sam's body heat. Poor vision. She doesn't see the animal tracks right in front of her. And her hearing must be bad too. She's making noise with no concern for predators. Zixtal said nothing. He just watched. Sam hiked for 3 hours. She stopped by a fallen tree that blocked the path. "This must be what the hikers reported," she said to herself. She took pictures with her phone, then examined the tree. Too big to move alone, she decided. Need a team with chainsaws. She marked the spot on her map and kept hiking. The path got steeper. The trees got thicker. Fewer birds sang here. In the pod, Peltith pointed to her screen. Commander, there is a large animal ahead, a predator. Zixtal leaned forward. What kind? The humans call it a grizzly bear. Very dangerous. It has killed humans before. The human is walking right toward it, said Krodak. She doesn't know. Do not interfere, said Zixtal. This is a perfect test. Let's see what happens. When a human meets a superior predator. Sam stopped to drink water. The forest was quiet now. Too quiet. Years of training made the hair on her neck stand up. Something was wrong. She put the water bottle away slowly. Her hand moved to the bear. Spray. She looked around, breathing quietly now. There was a sound to her right. A heavy footstep, a low breath. Sam turned, very slowly. 20 feet away stood the biggest grizzly bear she had ever seen. It was on its back legs, sniffing the air. It had to be 8 feet tall. Its claws were like knives. Its teeth showed yellow and sharp as it opened its mouth. Oh, God, Sam whispered. In the pod, the aliens watched with interest. The human's heart rate has doubled, said Vexna. Fear response activated. She will run now, said Krodak. The bear will chase. It will be over quickly. But Sam didn't run. She knew better. Running would trigger the bear's hunting instinct. Instead, she made herself look big. She raised her arms and spoke in a loud, firm voice. Hey, bear, I see you. Back off. The bear dropped to all fours. It looked confused for a moment. The human is trying to appear larger, said Peltith. Interesting strategy. It won't work, said Krodak. The bear is 5 times her weight. The bear took a step forward. Then another. It was curious now, head low, eyes locked on Sam. Sam took the bear spray from her belt. She started backing. Away slowly, never turning her back, never breaking eye contact. Hey, bear, don't want trouble, just backing away now. For a moment it seemed like it might work. The bear stopped, watching her. Then a bird flew up suddenly from a bush. The noise startled the bear. And it charged. Now it begins, said Zixtal. Sam had seconds to react. She aimed the bear spray. Her hands didn't shake. Her mind was clear. As the bear came within 10 feet, she pressed the button. Orange spray shot out in a cloud. It hit the bear in the face. The bear roared, a sound so loud it seemed to shake the trees. What is that weapon? Asked Krodak, surprised. A chemical irritant, said Vexna, checking her data. It hurts the eyes and nose but causes no permanent damage. The bear stopped its charge. It shook its massive head, pawing at its face. Sam used the moment to move back, putting more distance between them. But the wind shifted. Some of the spray blew back toward Sam. She coughed, eyes watering, but kept moving back, kept watching the bear. The bear was angry now. In pain and confused, it looked around for what hurt it. It saw Sam and roared again. The human is at a disadvantage now, said Peltith. Her own weapon has affected her. This will be the end, said Krodak with certainty. Sam blinked hard, trying to clear her eyes. The bear was coming again. The spray hadn't stopped it, just made it mad. As the aliens watched, the human woman faced the charging predator. The real test was about to begin. Interesting, said Zixtal. Very interesting. Indeed. The bear charged again. Sam had seconds to think. The bear spray canister was almost empty. Her eyes burned from the spray that had blown back at her, but her mind stayed clear. Move, she told herself. As the bear came within reach, Sam jumped to the side. The bear's huge paw missed her by inches. She felt the air move past her face. One hit from those claws would tear her open. Surprising speed, said Vexna in the observation pod. Better reflexes than our data suggested. Sam backed up against a large tree. The bear turned, angry and confused. Its eyes were red from the spray, but it could still see her. It sniffed the air, tracking her by smell. Get to high ground, Sam whispered to herself. She looked up. The lowest branch of the tree was 10 feet up, too high to reach. The bear charged again. This time Sam didn't have space to dodge. She pressed her back against the tree and waited until the last second. When the bear was almost on her, she dropped to the ground. The bear, unable to stop its charge, slammed into the tree trunk. The whole tree shook. The bear roared in pain and surprise. "A trap," said Krodak, leaning forward. She used the bear's weight and speed against it. Sam scrambled away on hands and knees while the bear was stunned. She ran to a fallen log and jumped over it. Now she had a barrier between herself and the bear. The bear recovered quickly. It looked around, found Sam again, and started coming toward her. It moved slower now, more careful. "She can't escape," said Peltith. "The bear is between her and the path back." Sam knew this too. She reached for her radio, but found empty space. The radio had fallen during her dodge. It lay on the ground, halfway between her and the bear. "No help coming," she said to herself. The aliens watched the human's face. They expected to see fear, panic, surrender. Instead, they saw something change in her eyes. A hardness. A decision. "What is she doing now?" asked Zixtal. Sam took her knife from her belt. It was just 6 inches long, tiny compared to the bear's 4-inch claws. She also picked up a broken branch from the ground about 3 feet long. "She means to fight?" Krodak said with disbelief. "With those small tools against a creature 5 times her size?" "Humans are known to be irrational when afraid," said Vexna. The bear approached the log. Sam stood her ground. She banged the knife against the branch, making loud noises. "Hey bear, you don't want this, back off." The bear paused, confused by the noise and the human's strange behavior. Most creatures ran from bears. This one wasn't running. In the observation pod, Peltith zoomed in her screen. "Look at the human's vital signs. Heart rate elevated but steady. Breathing controlled. She isn't panicking." "Impossible," said Krodak. "She must know she cannot win." Sam kept making noise, kept looking big. For a moment it seemed to work. The bear took a step back. Then the wind shifted again, bringing Sam's scent strongly to the bear. The animal's instincts took over. It roared and jumped over the log in one powerful leap. Sam was ready. As the bear came down, she swung the branch hard at its face. The wood connected with the bear's snout. The bear's head snapped to the side. "Direct hit to a sensitive area," noted Vexna. But the branch broke from the impact. The bear, more angry than hurt, swiped at Sam. She tried to dodge but wasn't fast enough. The claws caught her jacket, tearing through it and into her left arm. Sam cried out in pain. Blood spread quickly on her sleeve. The alien saw her face go pale. "First blood to the predator," said Krodak. "Now she will see her situation is hopeless." The bear, smelling blood, grew more confident. It stood up on its back legs again, now truly towering over Sam. It roared in victory. Sam clutched her bleeding arm. Pain made her vision blur, but instead of giving up, something changed in her. The aliens watched as her face set into a determined expression. "No," she said through gritted teeth. "I am not dying today." With her good arm, Sam threw what was left of the branch at the bear's face. While the bear was distracted, she ran, not away from the bear, but straight at it. "What is this?" gasped Peltith. "She runs toward danger?" The bear wasn't expecting this. Before it could react, Sam darted between its legs and ran past it. Now she was on the side with her radio. The bear turned, confused again. Sam didn't stop to pick up the radio. Instead, she ran to a steep slope nearby. The ground there was loose rock and dirt. "She's looking for higher ground," said Zixtal, understanding now. Sam climbed halfway up the slope, then turned to face the bear. Below her, the bear approached the bottom of the slope. It started to climb after her. "Perfect," Sam whispered. She waited until the bear was part way up the loose slope. Then she kicked hard at a large rock near her feet. The rock tumbled down, hitting other rocks, which hit more rocks. Soon a small landslide was falling toward the bear. The bear tried to dodge but couldn't move quickly on the loose ground. Rocks hit its body. One large one struck its head. The bear lost its footing and tumbled down the slope. She used the environment as a weapon, said Krodak, his voice showing surprise for the first time. Not just that, said Peltith. She made a plan while injured and afraid. She thought steps ahead. The bear at the bottom of the slope shook itself. It looked up at Sam, but now seemed unsure. It had been hurt twice trying to get this strange prey. The human wasn't acting like prey should act. Taking advantage of the bear's hesitation, Sam carefully made her way along the slope to a large tree that grew from the hillside. She climbed it quickly, ignoring the pain in her injured arm. Blood dripped down her hand as she pulled herself up branch by branch. 20 feet up, she found a strong branch and sat on it, back against the trunk. Now she was safely out of the bear's reach. Below, the bear paced around the tree. It stood up and put its paws on the trunk, but couldn't climb the straight, tall pine. She's safe, said Vexna. For now. In the tree, Sam finally allowed herself to examine her wound. The cut was long but not too deep. She took off her belt and wrapped it around her arm as a tourniquet, pulling it tight with her teeth. Notice how she treats her injury, said Peltith. Immediately, efficiently. No wasted energy on fear or pain. The bear circled the tree a few more times, then sat down. It seemed to be waiting for the human to come down. A stalemate, said Krodak. No, said Zixtal, who had been quiet for some time. Look at her face, she isn't finished. In the tree, Sam was going through her backpack with her good hand. She found a small metal whistle on a cord. She put it around her neck, then took out a small mirror from the first aid kit. What are those tools for? Asked Vexna. They watched as Sam pointed the mirror toward the sun, creating a flash of light. She aimed it in different directions, making it flash 3 times, pause, then 3 times again. At the same time, she blew hard on the whistle. 3 long blasts, pause, 3 more. Signaling for help, said Peltith. SOS in human emergency, code. The bear looked up at the strange noises but stayed at the base of the tree. Will other humans hear her? Asked Krodak. Unlikely, said Vexna. We detected no other humans within 5 miles. But Sam kept signaling. Flash, flash, flash. Whistle, 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 over and over. Her face showed pain, but her eyes showed something the aliens had never seen in any species they had conquered before. Hope. Determination. Refusal to give up. I don't understand, said Krodak. She must know her situation is hopeless. Zixtal watched the human woman, bleeding but unbowed, fighting for her life with every tool she had. I think, he said slowly, that humans don't believe in hopeless situations. An hour passed. Sam kept signaling with her mirror and whistle. The bear stayed below, sometimes pacing, sometimes sitting. It was patient. Bears could wait a long time for food. In the alien pod, Vexna checked her instruments. The human's blood. Loss is significant, her body temperature is dropping. How long can she survive? Asked Zixtal. In her current condition? With the dropping temperature as night approaches? Perhaps 6 hours. Peltith studied her own screen. The human's signals are interesting. She alternates between sound and light. She must know that different human senses work better at different distances. A waste of energy, said Krodak. No one is close enough to hear or see her signals. Just then, Sam stopped signaling. She looked to the east, head tilted, listening. The aliens adjusted their sensors. There's a sound, said Vexna. Very faint. In the distance came the steady beat of helicopter blades cutting through air. Impossible, said Krodak. How did they know she was in trouble? Peltith checked the data. She never returned to her check-in point. Her fellow humans must have a system for tracking missing members. Sam heard the helicopter too. She started signaling harder, the mirror flashing bright in the late afternoon sun. The whistle blasts were weaker now. She was getting tired. The bear heard the helicopter as well. It looked up at the sky, nervous. It didn't like the loud sound. The bear is leaving, said Vexna as they watched the large animal lumber away into the trees. The human has survived. But Zixtal shook his head. Not yet. Look at her condition. Sam was shivering now. The belt around her arm had slowed the bleeding but not stopped it completely. Her face was very pale. The alien's sensors showed her body temperature continuing to drop. She should stay in the tree until help arrives, said Peltith. It's safer. But to their surprise, Sam began to climb down. Her movements were slow, clumsy. She almost fell twice. What is she doing? Asked Krodak. The bear might return. She knows she's in trouble, said Zixtal. She needs to be found quickly. On the ground, Sam stumbled to where her radio had fallen. She picked it up with shaking hands and pressed the talk button. This is Ranger Wright, she said, her voice weak. I'm at Pine Creek Trail Marker 16 bear attack. I'm injured. After a moment, the radio crackled. Sam, this is Alan. We hear you. Helicopter is 5 minutes out. Are you safe? Bear's gone for now. Sam swayed on her feet. I'm not doing great, Alan. Stay with me, Sam. Is the bear still nearby? Sam looked around. Don't see it. But I need to be more visible for the helicopter. Peltith leaned forward. She should stay still. Moving will increase blood loss. But Sam was already walking. She headed for a small clearing about 50 yards away. It would be easier for the helicopter to spot her there. Easier for them to land. Each step was clearly painful. Sam's left arm hung useless at her side. She stumbled over roots and rocks. Once she fell to her knees, then pushed herself up with her good arm and kept going. Why doesn't she wait for help? Asked Krodak. Her behavior is not logical. She wants to be found quickly, said Vexena. She knows her condition is worsening. No, said Zixtal. It's more than that. Watch her face. The aliens zoomed in their cameras. Despite the pain and exhaustion clear on her face, Sam's eyes showed focus, determination. She was not just trying to survive. She was fighting to survive. Sam reached the clearing and sat down on a fallen log. She took off her bright orange vest and hung it on a branch where it would be seen easily from above. Then she blew her whistle again. 3 long blasts. The helicopter was close now. They could all hear it clearly. Suddenly there was a crashing sound from the trees. The bear had returned, perhaps drawn back by the whistle. It stood at the edge of the clearing looking at Sam. The predator returns, said Krodak. Now we will see the end. Sam saw the bear too. She stood up, swaying on her feet. The radio in her hand crackled again. Sam? Sam? Are you there? She didn't answer. She needed all her focus for the bear. She had no more bear spray, no weapon except her small knife. She was weak from blood loss and cold. The bear took a step into the clearing. In the pod, even Krodak leaned forward. What will she do now? Run? Hide? Sam did neither. She picked up a stick from the ground. She stood as tall as she could. And then, to the alien's complete shock, she shouted at the bear, "No, get out of here, no!" Her voice was weak but fierce. She banged the stick on the log beside her. The bear paused, confused again by this strange human who wouldn't act like proper prey. Her heart rate is up again, said Vexena, but it's steady, she's not panicking. She should be, said Krodak. She has no chance against that animal in her current state. The bear took another step forward. Sam didn't back up. Instead, she did something that made no sense to the aliens. She stepped toward the bear. No! This is my clearing! Get out! The bear stopped, surprised by the human moving toward it instead of away. It made a low sound in its throat. The helicopter was very close now. The sound of its rotors filled the air. The downdraft from the blades began to move the treetops above the clearing. Sam kept her eyes locked on the bears. She took another shaky step forward. Go on, get out of here. The bear looked up at the noisy helicopter. It looked at the human who wouldn't back down. It made a decision. With a huff, it turned and disappeared back into the trees. Sam's legs finally gave out. She sank to her knees, then sat down hard on the ground. She was smiling. In the pod, there, was silence. Finally, Krodak spoke. She won. Against all odds, with no advantages, while injured and weak. She won. The helicopter appeared overhead. It circled once, then began to lower into the clearing. Two humans in uniforms jumped out and ran to Sam. They had medical bags and moved with purpose. "They're treating her injuries immediately," said Vexna, watching through the sensors. "Stopping the bleeding, warming her body." "Will she survive?" asked Pelteeth. Vexna checked her readings. "Yes. Her vital signs are already improving with treatment. These humans know what they're doing." They watched as the rescuers carefully lifted Sam onto a stretcher and carried her to the helicopter. Minutes later, the aircraft lifted off, carrying Sam to safety. The alien pod remained hovering above the now empty clearing. Inside, the four Meraxes looked at each other. "What we just witnessed," began Pelteeth. "Was impossible," finished Krodak. "By any logical measure, that human should have died at least 3 times. Yet she didn't," said Zixtal. "She refused to die." "It wasn't just physical strength," said Vexna. "We've seen stronger species. It was something else." Zixtal nodded slowly. "Something we've never encountered before." He looked at his team. "We need to report this to the council immediately." As the pod rose higher into the sky, becoming invisible again, the aliens took one last look at the forest below. Somewhere down there, a bear was nursing its wounds and new wariness of humans. And miles away, a human woman was doing the same. But with a difference the aliens were only beginning to understand. Humans didn't just try to survive. They refused to accept defeat, even when defeat seemed certain, and that made them dangerous in a way the Meraxes had never imagined. The observation pod docked smoothly with the inevitable conquest. As the 4 Meraxes stepped out, they could tell something was different. The other crew members looked at them with curious eyes. Word had spread quickly that they had seen something unusual on Earth. Commander Zixtal went straight to his private room. He needed to think before making his report to the council. The others gathered in the ship's main science lab. "Play the recording again," said Krodak. His voice had lost its usual confidence. Vexna touched the control panel. A large screen lit up, showing Sam facing the bear in the forest. The other crew members gathered around to watch. "This is what has everyone talking?" asked Officer Drexel, the ship's second in command. "One human fighting an animal? We've seen humans fight before." "Not like this," said Pelteeth. "Watch carefully." They all fell silent as they watched Sam's battle with the bear. They saw her quick thinking, her refusal to panic, her use of simple tools and the environment. They saw her continue fighting, despite injury and blood loss. When the recording ended with Sam being rescued, Drexel shook his head. "I don't understand the concern. Yes, she survived. But it was luck. The animal could have killed her many times." "That's what I thought too," said Krodak. He pointed to another screen showing data charts. "But look at these readings. This human pushed her body beyond normal biological limits. Her system should have shut down from shock, but it didn't." "And her strategy," added Pelteeth. "She made complex decisions while injured and afraid. Most species can't think clearly under such stress." Vexna pulled up more data. "The most interesting thing was her mental state. Look at these brain patterns. Even when facing certain death, she never gave up, never accepted defeat." "One human," said Drexel, waving a hand dismissively. "You can't judge a whole species by one example." "So we thought," said Pelteeth. "But I've been searching our records. Look at these." She touched the screen. New images appeared. Humans in different situations across Earth. A man running into a burning building to save others. A woman lifting an impossibly heavy object to free a trapped child. A small boat facing enormous waves to reach a sinking ship. "These aren't their warriors," said Pelteeth. "These are ordinary humans. Yet they all show the same quality we saw today. They don't accept impossible situations. They should be easy to conquer," argued Drexel. "Our data shows their bodies are weak, their weapons inferior to ours." "Their bodies are weak," agreed Krodak, surprising everyone. The combat expert rarely agreed with anything. "But their minds." He touched his head. Something happens in their minds that we don't understand. In his private room, Zixtal was having similar thoughts. He watched the recording of Sam one more time. He focused on her eyes. What was it he saw there? Not just fear, not just determination. Something else. His door chimed. "Enter," he said. General Urkon walked in. The old warrior looked troubled. "The council is waiting for your report, Commander. They expect to hear that Earth is ready for invasion." Zixtal gestured to the screen. "Watch this first." Urkon watched, silently. When it was over, he was quiet for a long moment. "One human," he finally said. "One animal." "Yes," said Zixtal, "but think deeper. What if all humans have this quality? What if they all refuse to accept defeat no matter the odds? Our ships are stronger, our weapons more powerful." "Of course," said Zixtal, "but war isn't just about weapons, it's about will." He pointed to the screen, now frozen on Sam's face as she faced the bear the second time. "Look at her eyes, General. Have you ever seen that in any species we've conquered before?" Urkon looked. He slowly shook his head. "The council won't be happy with delay," he said. "The fleet is ready." "I'm not suggesting delay," said Zixtal. "I'm suggesting we reconsider completely." Back in the lab, the debate continued. "If we attack them, they will lose," insisted Drexel. "Numbers don't lie." "Perhaps," said Peltith, "but at what cost? Look at how this one human fought when cornered. Now imagine billions of them all fighting like that. And they're social creatures," added Vexna. "They work together in ways we barely understand. They help each other without logical reason." She showed a new image, the rescue helicopter coming for Sam. "They risked 4 more humans to save 1. That's not efficient. That's not logical. But it's what they do." "We should study them more," said Krodak. The others looked at him in surprise. The combat expert was known for favoring action over study. "You too?" asked Drexel. Krodak pointed to the screen, still showing Sam facing the bear. "I've fought in 17 planetary conquests. I've never seen a species that fights like this, not just with body but with mind. We need to understand it before we face it." An hour later, the ship's leadership gathered in the meeting room. The council members appeared on large screens around the table, watching from the Merax's homeworld billions of miles away. "Commander Zixtal," said High Leader Moxtal, the oldest and most respected council member, "we expected your final confirmation for invasion. Instead, we receive requests for more study. Explain yourself." Zixtal stood. "High Leaders, today we witnessed something unprecedented in our exploration of the galaxy." He played the recording of Sam and the bear. When it finished, there was silence from the council. "One human," said Leader Vexcor, breaking the silence. "This delays our plans because of one human." "Not just one human," said Zixtal. "What we witnessed represents something fundamental about humans that our years of distant study missed." "Completely." He nodded to Peltith, who touched her controls. The screens filled with more images. Humans facing disasters, humans overcoming impossible odds, humans refusing to surrender even when logic said they should. "They are physically weak," continued Zixtal. "Their technology is primitive compared to ours. But they have something we've never encountered before. A quality of mind that allows them to exceed their physical limitations. We still outnumber them," said Leader Tekoval. "Our weapons are superior." "True," said Zixtal. "But conquering a planet isn't just about first victories. It's about holding control afterward." He looked at each council member. "Imagine trying to control billions of beings who all share this quality we saw today. Beings who don't accept defeat, who keep fighting even when logic says they should surrender." General Urkon stepped forward. "High Leaders, in my 900 years as a military leader, I have conquered 32 worlds. None had inhabitants like these humans. We need to study them more before we commit our forces." The council members spoke among themselves, their voices too low to hear. Finally, High Leader Moxtal spoke. "Commander Zixtal, you have always been cautious. Some say too cautious. but you have also never been wrong in your assessments. The Aber, old Meraxus, leaned forward. You truly believe these humans represent a new kind of challenge? Zixtal thought of Sam's eyes as she faced the bear that second time, weak, bleeding, yet utterly refusing to give up. Yes, High Leader, I do. Not because they are stronger, but because they don't believe in limitations the way we do. They don't accept impossible. High Leader Moxtal nodded slowly. Very well. The invasion is postponed. You have 60 days to conduct deeper studies of these humans. Learn this quality they have, see if it can be broken. His eyes narrowed, and determine if it can be used. The screens went dark. In the silent room, Zixtal looked at his team. We have 2 months to understand what makes humans different from every species we've encountered before. He looked at the frozen image of Sam still on the main screen. We need to understand what we saw in her eyes today. And if we can't? Asked Drexel. Zixtal considered this. Then we may need to consider something the Meraxes have never done before. What's that? Asked Peltith. Leave a planet unconquered. 2 months passed quickly. The inevitable conquest remained in Earth orbit, hidden from human detection. Each day, Commander Zixtal sent small observation pods to different parts of the planet. They watched humans in cities, in deserts, in jungles, on mountains, and at sea. They recorded and studied and tried to understand. Today was the final day. Tomorrow, they would face the Council again and make their recommendation. Zixtal sat in the ship's viewing room looking down at the blue-green planet. The door opened behind him. His team entered, Vexna, Peltith, and Krodak. It's time, Commander, said Vexna. We need to finish our report. Zixtal nodded. Show me what you found. Vexna activated the main screen. Images of humans appeared, working, playing, fighting, helping each other. Their biology remains unchanged from our original assessment, she said. Physically weak compared to us. Poor senses, short lives, but she touched her controls. New images appeared. Humans doing seemingly impossible things. Their minds allow them to push their bodies far beyond normal biological limits. They can ignore pain, overcome fear, and keep functioning despite severe injury. Peltith stepped forward. Culturally, they are even more interesting. They pass down stories of heroes, humans who faced impossible odds and won. They teach their young that anything is possible if they try hard enough. A dangerous idea, said Zixtal. Yes, agreed Peltith. Most species accept natural limitations. Humans reject them. They constantly push boundaries even when it's risky or painful. Krodak touched the controls. The screen showed humans in different war situations throughout their history. Their approach to conflict is unlike anything we've seen, he said. When facing superior forces, most species retreat or surrender. Humans often fight harder. They develop new tactics, new weapons, they adapt quickly. And the woman? Asked Zixtal. Ranger Wright? Vexna brought up a new image. It showed Sam, now recovered, back at work in the forest. Her left arm was in a light brace, but she moved with confidence. She returned to her job just 3 weeks after the bear attack, said Vexna. The other humans call her a hero, but she denies it. She says, I just did what anyone would do. That's the most concerning part, said Peltith. What we witnessed wasn't extraordinary for a human. It was normal. They all have this quality to different degrees. Zixtal nodded slowly. And your final recommendation? The three looked at each other. It was Krodak who answered. We cannot recommend invasion at this time, he said. The risk is too great. Explain, said Zixtal, though he already knew the answer. We might win the first battles, said Krodak. Our technology is superior, but humans would never accept defeat. They would keep fighting, all of them, not just their warriors. They would adapt to our tactics, find our weaknesses. The cost would be too high, even if we won. Zixtal turned, back to the window looking at Earth. The Council expects us to conquer this planet. Our people need a new home. There are other planets, said Peltith. Less ideal, but without such dangerous inhabitants. And if we find another species like humans there? Asked Zixtal. Unlikely, said Vexna. In all our explorations, we've never found anything like them before. Zixtal was quiet for a long moment. Very well. Prepare the full report for the Council. Include all data, all observations. Hide nothing. The next day, the entire crew gathered in the meeting room. The Council members appeared on the screens looking serious. Commander Zixtal, said High Leader Moxtal. The delay has cost us valuable time. The fleet has been waiting. Our people suffer on our dying world. Your report had better justify this delay. Zixtal stood tall. High Leaders, we have conducted the most thorough study of any species in Merax's history. What we found has changed our understanding of life in this galaxy. For the next hour, Zixtal and his team presented their findings. They showed recordings, data, analysis. They explained what made humans different, their refusal to accept limitations, their ability to exceed biological constraints through mental force, their capacity to adapt quickly to new threats. Finally, Zixtal came to his conclusion. Based on all evidence, we cannot recommend invasion of Earth at this time. The risk to our forces is too great, and the cost of controlling humans afterward would be unsustainable. The Council members looked at each other. Some appeared angry, others concerned. What about our people? Demanded Leader Vexicor. We need a new home. There are 17 other planets within reach that could support our people, said Zixtal. Less ideal than Earth, but without such dangerous inhabitants. High Leader Moxtal leaned forward. You truly believe these humans with their primitive technology could threaten our advanced civilization? Yes, said Zixtal without hesitation. Not because they are stronger, but because they will never stop fighting. Because they don't believe in impossible. Because each one of them has the quality we saw in Ranger Wright. The Council went silent, discussing privately. Minutes passed. Finally, High Leader Moxtal spoke. Commander Zixtal, your recommendation is accepted. The invasion of Earth is cancelled. The fleet will be redirected to the planet Nexus 7. Zixtal felt relief wash over him. Thank you, High Leader. However, continued Moxtal, we wish to learn more about this human quality. It could be valuable to our own species. What do you propose? Asked Zixtal. Leave a small team in orbit around Earth. Continue studying humans, but do not interfere with them. Learn what makes them so determined, so adaptable. Perhaps we can develop these qualities in our own people. A wise decision, said Zixtal. I volunteer to lead the study team. Accepted, said Moxtal. Send regular reports. This human quality may be the most important discovery the Meraxes have ever made. The screens went dark. The crew looked at each other, relief on their faces. War had been avoided. Later, in his private room, Zixtal looked at Earth one more time. He pulled up the recording of Sam facing the bear. He focused on her eyes. That moment when, despite pain and fear, she had decided to fight rather than surrender. There was something there that the Meraxes had lost long ago. Something valuable. Something worth learning. The inevitable conquest would soon depart, taking most of the crew to join the fleet heading for Nexus 7. But Zixtal and a small team would remain, watching Earth, learning from these strange, determined creatures called humans. He thought about the name of his ship, Inevitable Conquest. Perhaps it still applied, but not in the way anyone had expected. Earth had not been conquered, but in some ways the humans had conquered the Meraxes. Not through force, but by showing them a new way to face challenges. Zixtal made a decision. He would rename his remaining observation ship. As he tried to think of a suitable name, he remembered what he had seen in Sam's eyes that day in the forest. He entered the new name into the ship's registry. Unbroken Spirit. It seemed fitting for a ship that would study the most unbroken spirits the galaxy had ever known. Far below, Unaware of how close their planet had come to invasion, the humans continued their lives. In a forest in Montana, Sam Wright hiked a trail, alert for bears but unafraid. Her encounter had changed her, made her stronger. That's what humans did with challenges. They grew from them. And from far above, eyes watched and learned and wondered what other surprises these remarkable creatures might reveal in the years to come.